Men like to be dominating, like to be tough above the woman, right? How do you say my son in Urdu? Beta, right? So, you know that young son that tries to prove to his parents he's strong, he's tough, he's big. His mom calls him out, Beta, come here. And he goes, I'm not a beta, I'm an alpha. She goes, shut up. Anyways, men like to dominate over women. They do. It's natural. For some reason, we feel like we need to be bigger and above people. What does Muhammad say if you have a mustard seed of kibr in your heart? You won't enter Jannah. So why would you think you're better than women? You want to go to Jahannam, bro? Tafadhal. No, I'm just kidding. Astaghfirullah. Inshallah, this idea of domination is very, very, stupid. But us men think that way for some reason. Astaghfirullah. When we're in sujood, what do we say? Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. Someone said something wrong here. Brother, your prayer is all wrong. You need to stop all of them from right now, right? No. So Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. And what's awesome about the sujood is that all of us go down to the ground. Nobody's above the other, right? The men don't sit above higher than the woman does in the sujood, right? We're all in the sujood. Nobody is above the other person. Sujood is prostration in salah, okay? And so, except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is the one above all of us. We are not above His creation, or any part of His creation. We're equals, right? And so, if you have this idea of being dominant and stuff like that, then you really better pray hard. Because like Muhammad said that an ounce or any amount of kibr in your heart. And what is kibr? Kibr is whenever you think you're better or bigger than someone else, right? We say Allahu Akbar, God is the greatest, God is the biggest, not us, right? Between the men and the woman, okay? And so we have a problem with women sometimes who are like, yeah, I want a man with no emotions. Yeah, you better be tough. I like that dominating guy, You really do have people who say that, and that's completely wrong. So now I want to move on to Muhammad ﷺ and how his wife was emotional to him. So Muhammad ﷺ finds out he becomes a prophet. He's really nervous, he's really stressed out, he's kind of confused on what's going on. Who is the first person to go and tell? Khadija. And this is so beautiful. And so cute. Get ready, guys. He goes to Khadija, who by the way is almost twice his age. She was his boss. He worked for her. Okay? And she saw that, Muhammad ﷺ is a great guy, he respects me. Who did the proposal? Did she propose to him or did he propose to her? She proposed to him, right? And so, Alhamdulillah, they got married because of that. She loved the way this man's character was. When he finds he's a prophet, he comes home, he tells his wife, and he's nervous, and his wife puts her arms around Muhammad ﷺ. Wait a minute. Every Hollywood movie I see, the guy has his arms around the girl. What's going on here? Astaghfirullah al-Azim, stop. Who has their arms around who? Khadija has her arms around Muhammad ﷺ. Khadija is obviously the woman of the relationship, and Muhammad ﷺ is obviously the man of the relationship. Okay, there's a bit of conflict here with our society. That he was able to go trust his wife and tell her. She wasn't like, you're crazy, right? That's the common wife response to the husband. Honey, whatever you're going to say is stupid right now. She listened to him. She put her arms around Muhammad ﷺ. As he's nervous and he's shaking. And she's saying that if Allah chose you, she chose the best one to be a prophet. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Like, I don't even think that a lot of us feel comfortable to do that with our mothers and our brothers and our sisters. And I know that's weird to make it more romantic and a beautiful emotional setting within our family, but we need to. They are our support system. Your Muslim brothers and your Muslim sisters are your support system. Not, Mr. Bollywood, right? Or whatever, your boyfriend or your girlfriend. And that's what we have a tendency to do. And we think that sometimes people sin just because they want to sin, right? I want to do khamar and I want to do drugs just because I want to. Like, no. They don't know how to deal with their emotions, so they have to go and do these drugs so they can feel better about themselves. It's not as simple as I just want to go do drugs, right? So Muhammad ﷺ had an awesome wife, Khadija. who helped him deal with the emotions and helped him to bear with each other. Muhammad also had Sahaba anhum to deal with his emotions and to help him, do that, so on and so forth. And so having emotions is not bad whatsoever. And we need to be open about it, we need to communicate about it, because at the end of the day, modesty of the physical world is great, but modesty of the heart is way better. So who cares about a piece of cloth on your freaking head or affecting a cover over your belly button and your kneecaps? Like, if you don't have that modesty in your heart, there's no way you can get to the physical world. No way. So, I want to talk to you guys about marriage. I love cover photos on Facebook. Every Pakistani person I know has a cover photo of a really awesome chair that everyone is standing around, and they take pictures. 75% of Pakistani weddings go to chairs. The wife and the husband sit, and everyone goes take a picture on it. The other 25% goes into the mango juice for everyone else. Marriage is an important topic, right? And I think a lot of us complain about marriage, especially when we're not married. Like, bro, you get married. Yeah, me too. Let's get married. No, I'm just kidding. No, but we always complain about marriage. And it's funny because we have the same problems. For centuries and centuries, we have the same marriage problems. But I call it the Nueces Masjid problem. What's the Nueces Masjid problem? You have people going to college who go to Nueces Masjid and then they graduate. They talk about, man, this masjid needs this new, man, look, this carpet's so old, look at this wood that's so old, and we need donations. And what happens when you graduate and you leave? You forget about the masjid. You got your own life, you're making money now, you can actually help out in the Nueces Masjid, but you don't. Khalas, you left, you're back in Houston, you're back in Dallas. What happens with marriage is you get these brothers and sisters who complain, this is wrong about marriage, we need to do this again. Marriage, like, okay, sorry, I found Mr. Bollywood, I need to go with him now, right? Or I found my wife, khalas, I don't have any more problems in my life. We forget about the marriage problems of the other people. We're not solving the problem, we're repeating it, okay? And so, the way Islam does marriage is really awesome and it's really beautiful. I call it logic love. That sounds ugly. Who wants to love logically to someone? I mean, that just sounds like math. Habib to you, I don't know. Okay, never mind, I don't want to call for a here, but. So, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not have an intimate or romantic relationship with Khadija anha before they got married. I think we agree with that. We all know that. He didn't call her Astaghfirullah babe or hey sweetie pie. He didn't do any of those things. They interacted in a physical world as business partners. Okay, through those interactions, through the times that they interacted with each other, they saw each other, they worked with each other, Khadija anha saw Muhammad was a good man, had good manners, so on and so forth. Even though that she wasn't necessarily emotionally connected to him, she saw logically that this was a good person, and this is a good person I can emotionally connect to, that I can build a relationship with. That's why she proposed to them. So we have the logic first, and then we have the love. And this is so important. So, because a lot of us are like, how do I fall in love, How do I meet the right girl? I want to love her, Love will only last for a certain amount of time. When I say love, I mean romantic love. Obviously, I love you guys, okay? But there's a romantic love that I'm talking about. There's a bunch of psychology tests where they say that this romantic love or whatever, this fantasy world, after a relationship for 30 or 90 days, if you have nothing else to fall back on, the relationship is going to fall, right? Because all that cute stuff is going to go bye-bye, right? Not all of it, inshallah, we'll have more cute and romantic relationships with our husbands and our wives, but there's a reality that we need to understand. And that we shouldn't base off of love, which is emotion that you're feeling, for a small amount of time. You have to be logical. I think Khadija was pretty logical about picking Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, don't you? You think she was I'm just going to base it off this feeling? No, she thought that who this man is, who the character was, is this person good to me? Can I respect this person? Can this person respect? She was being logical about her decision. And so as Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's like, well, I've worked with her, I see the way she is. They had, interactions where they're not, no, they're not flirting. They're actually interacting with each other. And I know this sounds awkward, but the best way that you know someone before you marriage is interacting through them through MSA in a halal way, right? Whenever you see, I know that sister, she works really well, with the masjid, she does a lot of good stuff. I know this brother, I know him because he's very active in the masjid, he's active in the community. I hear a lot of things about him, he seems like a good person. You have to be logical. And this is very important for women's rights and women empowerment. Okay. Number one, Muhammad before his time was the woman didn't make decisions in choosing their partner. Okay. Now I was a resident assistant for a dorm for about a semester. Y'all don't know how many times rape happens in dorms. It is so common. It's so weird. Rape in America is like, subhanAllah. I did not expect that it happens so much. It's just, the thing is that nobody talks about it. No one's open about it. And the toughest factor about rape is that it's not with this 90-year-old guy and this 16-year-old girl. It's sometimes mostly with boyfriend and girlfriends. Or it's mostly with a girl who knows a guy and he rapes her. And she's emotionally connected to him, so she doesn't want to put him in jail. She will not say his name because she's emotionally connected to him. What does that mean? That when you're just using your emotions, you're not using your logic, stuff like that is going to happen. Astaghfirullah, don't think I'm blaming the girl, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that you have to be logical first, before your heart. Because I think you can build emotions and love for anyone else. Man, I love you guys, and I barely know you guys, right? Don't worry about the emotions yet. Be logical first. Is this person going to work well for me? And what's awesome, that's when someone comes up to you, by the way, and they say, do you believe in arranged marriage? Yeah, I believe in arranged marriage. I arrange it. Not this weird feeling in my heart. Do you see what I'm saying? You're being logical. You're arranging the person that you're marrying. Not, again, this weird feeling that you're having that's going to go away. Be logical, okay? So think about the things, right? And that's why you include other people. You include your brothers and sisters. You include your parents. You include your best friends because they know you, right? You know you, but they know you. You know what I mean? You both know yourself in different ways. And that's why you need to be logical, right? Just like when we were talking about that daraba ayah. Whenever y'all can't fix problems, what do? You get your... Nobody was paying attention. No, I'm just kidding. You get your relatives involved. She gets her relative, I get my relative, and they talk, right? So they can be more logical. So, maybe we're too emotionally connected to the situation, we can't think logically. You see how awesome Islam is? You get your people, you work with each other, again, like the emotions, just like in marriage. It requires community, it requires family, it requires good friends. So we really need to find people that you can trust. Back to what I'm saying. You get your friends who know you, your brothers or sisters who knows you. It's really awesome when you have sisters. They get to know other sisters and they get to find that person for you, so on and so forth. And you pick someone logically. And then here's where the cute stuff comes in, right? So, you know this sister or you know this brother, and mashallah, like they're a good person. You see the way they act, you see their manners, and you think it's amazing, and you can trust that person with your heart. When you get married to this person, and people say that this logical marriage stuff takes away all the love. There's no romance in it. But it's so romantic. By the way, Muhammad was a very romantic man. I call him the love doctor. Because he really, really knows how to be romantic, mashallah. After you get married, you've met this person, you know this person, you know that this person's right for you, so on and so forth. Y'all did a lot of things to make sure that y'all are right for each other. You tell your baby girl, Habibti, my love, I didn't know you in the days that I was at UT. And there were so many times that I could have committed zina, but I didn't. There were so many times I could have kissed the girl, but I didn't. There were so many times I could have hugged the girl, but I didn't. There were so many times I could have flirted or messed around. There's so many times I could have done so many wrong, but I didn't. Because I know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was saving this awesome person for me. And here you are, Habibti. And she goes, oh. She goes, well, Habibi, when I was at UT, there were so many times I could have committed zina. There's so many times I could have hugged the brother. There's so many times I could have kissed the brother. There's so many times I could have done this and done this wrong. But I know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was saving it for an awesome person like you. Got you back, baby. Right? How romantic is that? Saving all what you have for someone y'all don't even know yet. Allahu a'lam. You don't even know yet. And so when you finally meet them and you finally accept them as a future husband or future wife, you get to tell them, I saved all these things just for you. That's pretty romantic to me. I think that there's a beauty in Islam. And if that doesn't get you, read the ahadith of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah, this man was so romantic and so beautiful to his wife. MashaAllah. Right? The love is cute. The romance is really cute and it's really nice. But it's better when you trust someone. When this agrees to someone, then you could trust them with your heart. Don't throw this automatically. Don't give it to someone automatically. They're going to break it. And then you have the same emotional problems, the same modesty problems. Now you don't like Islam because you're so angry and so on and so forth. But that's not the case if you follow Islam correctly. But what did I say about ibadah? Whenever you struggle with ibadah, what is that called? Jihad. Okay. So I want to make sure y'all aren't confused. I'm not giving y'all excuses that if you have emotional problems, you should go have a boyfriend and girlfriend. What is the time?
We got 2 minutes left.
10 minutes, awesome. He has it on his phone. Inshallah, I'm gonna end this soon, inshallah. So, what was I saying? You distracted me.
Jihad.
Jihad. Okay, so that you have all these excuses of emotions. And oh man, all these men being sexist, all women being sexist, everyone hating each other about modesty, everyone hating each other about hijab. And you have those reasons, and you want to leave Islam because of all these stupid reasons. Then you are at that moment enslaved to hatred. If you're enslaved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you wouldn't care about these things. If you're enslaved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you truly love, and you truly worship Him, when you open the closet, you're automatically, whatever Allah loves, man, I'm going to wear it. If you're truly slave to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you would act differently. You would move differently. You would talk differently. Muhammad ﷺ says that when you commit a sin, at that moment you're not a Muslim. Now that's interesting. Because usually when you're a Muslim, we think that you're a Muslim always, 100%, all day, every day, right? But it's not. You're not Muslim every day. You're not Muslim every second. The time that you're not submitting yourself to Allah, you're not a Muslim. The times you are submitting to Allah, you are a Muslim. So it's not a membership card. You take your shahada, that doesn't mean khalas, you're Muslim. No, we all have to take our shahada and we have to act as Muslim as possible. Because in some scenarios, we're not going to be Muslims. In some scenarios, we are. So I think we want to be in the scenarios where we are as much as we can. Okay? So I hope, inshallah, I'm going to end this with a cute story, hopefully. Inshallah, I just want to go over the things that we learned about. We learned about the 4 basic definitions, which the first one was Islam, Muslim, Ibadah, Jihad. And then we learned about 4 words that will help us define modesty. The first one was Khamar, right? Then it was Daraba, then it was Khimar, then it was. Do you all understand these words? Y'all should say no. Okay. You should all go back home and you should go reread these words and reread these ayahs with these words and finally apply what you've learned today in there until you can learn more, inshallah. Right? And so we also learned that modesty is way more than just a physical world, that we have to understand that there is modesty in many different ways, and an issue that we need to solve is emotionally for both brothers and sisters. We need to be connected with our family and friends to deal with our emotional problems rather than, boyfriend and girlfriend issues. We learned that Pakistani wedding, no, I'm just kidding, no. We learned that Muhammad and Yaqub all the prophets were very emotional people, and they were able to be emotional with the friends around them, and respecting, and the relationship between Muhammad and Khadija were very beautiful, and they were emotional with each other. I want to mention an extra story before I mention this beautiful one, and then I'm done, inshallah. Yaqub had 10 sons who kidnapped Yusuf alayhi salam. Okay? So they kidnapped Yusuf alayhi salam. Yusuf alayhi salam goes to Egypt. How did Yaqub alayhi salam cheated his 10 sons? Did he beat them up? Did he spit at them? Did he fight them? Your parents think you're the worst sometimes, or you think your parents think you're the worst sometimes, right? And they go crazy and they're like, oh my God, your grades, or what are you doing, and stuff like that. You tell you, hey, Alhamdulillah, I didn't kidnap, so-and-so, right? Okay. Yaqub had some kidnapping sons. At least you don't have me kidnapping, right? I didn't kidnap nobody. Ya Allah, Yaqub alayhi salam was so patient with his sons. He even knew that they had jealousy against Yusuf alayhi salam. But he was so patient, he was so peaceful. He was so emotional. He was, subhanAllah, he didn't go crazy or angry at his 10 sons. He kept on worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was still peaceful. He was so amazing. Again, I don't think anyone can say that our parents are as emotional, as perfect as Yaqub alayhi salam. At the same time, we are nowhere near Yusuf alayhi salam. Am I right? Can I get an amen? No, I'm kidding. Now I'm going to end with a story. I'm waiting to volunteer. Umar Salam, can I get you to stand up for me? So, turn around. That's okay. So, y'all know the story about the Africans coming to dance in the Masjid Nabawi? No. Wallahi, I did not mean that. Wallahi, I didn't mean that. Y'all know the story about the Africans coming to dance? Guys, come on, listen here. For Muhammad to show his praise in Masjid Nabawi, you know that story? Yeah. And Aisha anha wanted to come see. By the way, it's weird. People praying in a mosque, like what the heck? You know, subhanAllah. No, you have to dance, don't worry. So Aisha anha wants to come see this, right? So Muhammad is okay with it. So he's gonna astaghfirullah. No one is as good as Muhammad. I'm not saying he's Muhammad. He's gonna act or stand the way that Muhammad did, and I'm gonna do the way Aisha did. So I need you to pretend that you love me. Okay, so after what I just said, yes. So Aisha is behind Muhammad ﷺ, and she's the one who told him, let's go check it out, right? And so she's shorter than Muhammad ﷺ, right? I'm shorter than Umar ﷺ over here. And she's watching it from behind, so she has her head on Muhammad ﷺ's shoulder, with her arms around Muhammad ﷺ because she's short. I want you to ask me if I'm done watching 3 times in a row, okay? Continue. You have to ask me. No. No. Yes, I know. Muhammad ﷺ asked Aisha anha, you can sit down now. He wasn't dancing, I told you that's not his part. So, Aisha anha asked Muhammad ﷺ asked Aisha, are you done watching? And she said no, until the 3rd time, okay? After Muhammad ﷺ passed away, by the way, the scene that I was just doing, Wissam Sharif did the scene with Abdullah Murphy. It's really funny, I should watch it on YouTube. Aisha anha, after Muhammad ﷺ passed away, said that she really wasn't interested in the African dancing because she just wanted to put her arms around Muhammad ﷺ. Aww. I want to text my boyfriend that. That's a cute romantic story, but you have to know that Muhammad ﷺ married someone using his logic. Aisha anha, right? She was like one of the first Muslim scholars. Right? So many hadith were from her. So many people asked for her help with Muhammad ﷺ after he passed away. He entrusted her with the rulings of this deen. Okay? So it's cute, I know we love it, it's romantic, and we must have romance and emotions in our deen, but never ever forget the logic. Do we understand that? Okay, inshallah, I think now we can do the questions. If anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, complaints. Complaints? Hello? Y'all heard me, right? No questions? What's up, Omar?
So if you were to give one tip for the brothers to start integrating hijab into their life,
get nice shoes, because brother, you're going to be lowering your gaze a lot. No, I'm just kidding. Y'all have to understand that, if you were to see me in my first lectures, I used to just make jokes all the time. I'm very joking, and I'm very annoying to my brothers and sisters, and I joke around a lot. In fact, I practice my pickup lines on my Muslim brothers. Anyways, so Umar Salam asked about what a tip to how can men be more emotional? What's that first tip? I think obviously you don't want to go to a bunch of men and be like, guys, I want to talk to you guys. Have a good Muslim best friend. Alhamdulillah, Allah gave me really, really awesome best friends. And I met a lot of you, awesome Nueces, guys, mashallah, really good. But find that one best friend and ask them, hey, can I speak to you about deeper subjects like my emotions? And I would expect you to do the same for me. I'm okay with you telling me emotions. Find that one good person, right? Because it's awkward to do with multiple people. That's, for me, that's my personal advice, I don't know. But if you don't have one person you can talk to emotionally, you have a problem. So you need to find that person as a Muslim brother, other Muslim sisters do the same thing, right? You should have at least one person you should talk to emotionally. Because let me tell you this, when you're talking to yourself, you're going to be like me when I was high on those medicine drugs, right? You're going to talk to yourself and you're going to be like, oh, I am so smart, right? Like, when you talk to someone else, the ideas become more clear, your decisions become more clear and more logical, and they're able to make decisions with you in a more helpful way. So find out one good Muslim brother that you can at least talk to. It can be family or just a friend. Any other questions, comments, and concerns? None.
So there really wasn't any hijab
For
tutorial?
men. There is a hijab for men. There's modesty for men, right?
No, a hijab tutorial.
A hijab tutorial.
What's up,
What happened? Put your beard in the hijab. Quick advice is, I guess, if you're finally going to ask any questions, somebody complained to me about this, and I think this is true. It goes back to the men and the modesty thing. Men, you really need to understand that modesty is very important. And I understand your kneecaps are really beautiful, but cover them. Okay? I know that we don't take them seriously, but we must. We expect women to, right? We need to take it as seriously. We can't have expectations for women that we don't have expectations for ourselves, right? Be more serious about the underwear and the kneecaps, and I know you really want to show me your kneecaps. I'm sure they're beautiful, like I said, but we have a standard to follow. So please, please take that seriously, because it shows hypocrisy within our own community. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Yes?
Yeah. All right, this is kind of a light question. Based on, the title and the picture, got my interest. I went online. I wanted to see if this was part of some kind of bigger, wide campaign. And the result that I found was kind of the complete opposite of this, where it was in Iran, there was a movement of men, again, like how men wear the hijab, men posting pictures of themselves wearing hijab to protest against women in Iran who don't, because there's that thing where there's a website where women upload photos of themselves not in hijab. So it's basically this man response, mocking them. There were some like threatening comments against women like that. So it's kind of the opposite of what we're doing here. So was your idea for this event in response to that?
No, my idea in the event was to be more open, for men to understand that they are included in modesty. And there's always a hijab also issue to it, like, oh, mashallah, you're my ought to be brother, right? There's all that definitions and the root words, and people think hijab means headscarf, and when they find out it doesn't mean headscarf, you don't have to wear headscarf. Oh no, but we do have to wear headscarf, and it's just a different word, right? That was my idea of the event. Also, so there was a guy checking out a girl, right? That's a common scenario. And Muhammad went up to this guy, and he moved his head like this. He didn't go, you know what I mean? He didn't go tell that girl, go back in your house to wear more clothes. What did he do? He just softly put his hand on this man's face, and he moved it. Like, Ya Rabbi, how merciful Muhammad is, right? How amazing he was, and how he dealt with modesty. I'm trying to open the society. I'm that controversy guy, right? I like to talk about controversy, right? But I really like to more shed light on it, and to open our eyes into modesty. And that it's awesome. It's awesome. Like, some people think of like, oh man, I have to wear hijab, I have to do this, I have to maintain, I have to maintain, blah blah blah. Like, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has something amazing for you. Like, the whole marriage story I was saying. He's just saving it for you to give it to someone else. You know what I mean? There's more beauty and amazing to it. And obviously hijab, there's always that sexism and stuff like that. Y'all, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I've never seen anyone in history start the first women's rights movement except for Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Muhammad was the first women's rights activist. He was the first feminist we have on this planet who stood up and changed women's rights. He was the first women's rights revolutionist. Okay? Why don't we talk about that? Why don't we brag about that? Sister, you're like a lollipop. If you're a lollipop with a wrapper, you get the flies. If you're a lollipop with wrapper, no, you don't get flies. Which one do you want to be? Right? And Muhammad sallallahu does all these amazing things with women's rights, and we're sitting here comparing women to lollipops. That's a big problem. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to shed some beauty and love to it, and show, just be happy that this is a part of our deen. Why don't we talk about Muhammad sallallahu being a women's rights activist? And that's why at St.Edwards University everyone was like going crazy for it, because That's such a weird word, that's such a weird way of saying it, but it's the truth, y'all. Muhammad cared about women's rights and he did something about it. Why do we feel uncomfortable with women's rights? Why do we feel uncomfortable talking about women's issues? When Muhammad was so comfortable about it and he stood up for it with firmness, right? You know, speaking of marriage, right? Y'all know about the story. I'm sure so many scholars mentioned this in the halaqas, where a woman went up to Muhammad and complained to him that, you know, my parents made me marry this guy that I didn't choose. And Muhammad said, well, that marriage is illegitimate. That's not an Islamic marriage. She goes, no, I want to marry the guy. Maybe he was cute or something, I don't know. But I just want the ummah, the daughters of the ummah know that the marriage choice is for them. Like that interaction happened just for us, you know? So everything that's happening during Muhammad's time is happening for us. So why aren't we applying it? Allahu a'lam. And we all make mistakes. May Allah forgive us for our sins and increase us, inshallah, in modesty. Kareem is standing up. That means this is coming to an end. You'll have rest of the announcements of all the MSA events. And here you go.
جزاك الله خير محمد. تكبير.
الله أكبر.
تكبير.
الله أكبر.